Next question, Dirty, again for you. You have $3.3 million. What are you buying?
Just Bugatti Chiron.
There we go. Well, if you ask Nick Tomaino on NTMoney on Twitter, he spent $3.3 million on Cryptopunk 4156. Beautiful ape there with a blue bandana on, and he wrote a thread as to why. I mean, hey, look, if you got the money and you want to flex it, have at it. I hope that this guy didn't have $3.5 million in the bank and that's what he decided to spend his money on. My gut is telling me that if you're going to drop that, you probably are doing all right. And this is just, it's a way to make a splash. It's a way to kind of turn some heads and whatnot. But $3.3 million for a Cryptopunk in this market. Could this money have been spent other ways? Like, would you rather have just, market bought as many Bored Apes as possible? Are you buying into proof more? What is your game plan if you have a gun to your head and you have to deploy that into NFTs?
This seems like a dumb purchase. I have zero interest in buying an ape, but I feel like I would be better off buying in multiple apes. Just a 300 doodles.
You're sweeping the doodles floor with
maybe a couple Clonax. It just seems so late to the party. It seems like such an aggressive price point right now during market conditions.
That's a good point. I mean, you see this purchase in December and you're like, fuck yeah, NFTs, baby. Like, I knew it was always a thing. And now you're this guy came through the door at 2:30 in the morning as people are leaving in with like a box of pizzas and being like, hey guys, let's do this, right?
Yeah. It just seems like, I don't know. It just seems very oddly timed. Doesn't seem like the best purchase. I don't know. I'm not super familiar with this account. Are they very active in the space?
NTMoney has been around. I mean, 49,000 followers. He's probably gotten a good chunk of them from this purchase, as people like to flock to the punks and the ape holders and whatnot. I find it funny. I'm curious as to what this guy's net worth actually is, because I actually just read an article, maybe you guys caught it, about Madonna being upset that the one Bored Ape that she want was not the one that she ended up getting, because the $1.5 million price tag for it, and it was like rank 126 or something. It was a very high ranking Bored Ape. Wow. She's worth just over $500 million and didn't want to drop the 1.5 million on the one she wanted. So, to see this guy being like $3.3 million for this Grail Cryptopunk, like, let's go. Kind of sticking it to Madonna, honestly.
Oh, okay. This guy started a fund back in 2017, starting with 26 million backed by Peter Thiel and Cuban. Oh, okay, so yeah, this guy.
So that 26 million has turned into 10 million with the recent downturn, and now he's
no. This is what he started at 2017. He started back in 2017.
Oh yeah, he'd be right then.
Oh wait, here you go. Sure. His first fund. That's a different fund. His current fund. When was this article? I don't know. He's not hurting. Is basically the bottom line. So.
I just can't think of any other NFT. Like, is there any other NFT like right now that you would buy for $3 million? Like, I know that there's like the Beeples, like 69 million or whatever it was. Like,
yeah.
But it's like, obviously we don't hear of these sales very often. But like what? Like, other than the fact that you can make a Twitter thread saying I spent $3.3 million, is that it just doesn't? The price seems off. I don't. Maybe like, even if it was like a super rare, it just seems. What are punks right now? Like 90K?
Yeah, the last time I checked, the floor price was around 60, 70.
I mean, dude, the wallet that punk is sitting in has 15 more in it. So, and a few Clonex and a few nouns. So
I just don't think that justifies a $3 million punk purchase.
Though. No, I'm not saying that justifies it, but all I'm saying is like, it's not, I feel like it was definitely, it's leaning more towards publicity stuff. Not to mention like, we haven't talked about yet, but like the tweet thread has some hot takes, some absolute hot takes.
Yeah, and that's actually what I was going to say, because I know you read it in depth and you had a couple takeaways from the thread. You want to break it down for us a little bit? It was a bit of fluff, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of fluff. I mean, he basically, you know, goes on to give his, in my opinion, not that great of reasons. One of them being the community, but I feel like there are better communities, like especially now. Not to say punks are bad or anything, but I feel like you can get access to better communities with that money. Not to say they're not already in there, but the hottest take to me was the thousands. This is his words: the thousands of PFPs that came after punks, nouns, BAYC, Clonex, Doodles are all derivatives of punks, and it's like, no, but also like technically a derivative bought your original project, so it's kind of like, I don't understand his rationale there. But I mean, clearly this guy's better at managing money than me, so he's got different thoughts. I don't know. That to me stood out the most. It's just kind of like
that just seems like a shock value statement, to be honest.
Yeah,
it kind of does, like farming. Yeah, the engagement farming.
Yeah, if there's one thing you want to get the apes riled up is tell them that they're a derivative of Cryptopunk.
I mean, even this tweet, punk holders generally aren't allowed. They're just true believers. This is also a good indication of long-term growth. Like, the project was bought out by Yuga. Like, who's growing this? Like, Yuga, I know, like, their main flagship's going to be BAYC always, most likely. Well, maybe now it's going to be like other side and all that metaverse stuff, but still, like,
Dirty, you had a thought in there and I cut you off. I apologize.
I don't think so.
No. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. I mean, if I had to pick one NFT for $3.3 million, I don't know what I'd probably be buying, like a one of one by like a Beeple or some kind of like high valued one of one, right?
Yeah, that just seems so, because it's like, how much more in like, if you look at it as an investment, like how much more in value can that really? We can go up and if the price of ETH goes up, I feel like it goes up in value, but like,
yeah, I mean, he just kind of goes on to say that he has a long time horizon on this investment. Like, it's not something he's looking at flipping, and I don't think that ever should be, because you're just not going to flip a $3.3 million NFT overnight. But I guess if you want to put yourself in 5 years, 10 years time, and if we're assuming NFTs made it, right? Like, they're just a thing that everybody uses. The value of them across the board for any project with reasonable value has gone up. You know, this is buying a Monet, you know, off his shelf rather than, you know, 100 years later. So I guess, like, you know, if NFTs hit that upper echelon of like value and importance to society, then CryptoPunks, I have to believe, are going to be right up there with it. The same with Bored Apes, right? Like, these are going to be real important artifacts in the, you know, of this asset class. So I guess that's his bet. And I guess it doesn't seem like a terrible one when I start thinking about it like that. But if it's like, you're owning a fund and your whole goal is like ROI, like, yeah, there's probably some better ways to deploy, but stands to reason that, you know, there's wealthy people all over the place that will just, you know, spend $200 million on a Jackson Pollock because they just want it on their wall, right? And that's the amount of money they're playing with. So
true. It's true.
Seems like a lot.
Yeah, it's not my purchase, but also not
my
money.
Floor Punk, and like, I just feel like there's so much more upside to that.
I mean, he's got 15 others, so he already had punks. So
yeah, I mean, he's definitely experiencing problems I'm not. So,
oh, absolutely.
And that's it, right? Like, sometimes it's incredibly hard to put yourself in the shoes of somebody that can spend this amount of money, because, I mean, even when I asked you what you would spend $3.3 million on, you picked a Bugatti, right? And like, people all over the place were like, why would you ever spend that much on a car? And it's like, you know, because I can.
You put me on the spot. I was trying to think of something. $3 million price tag.
Well, it's a good purchase. You know, you can.
Yeah, I mean, that will. In my opinion, a Bugatti Chiron will go up in value. So I can't.
Actually, ultra luxury, exotic, like sports cars and cars like that are one of the best appreciating assets, provided you don't like crash it into a pole, right? So
nuts.